Hello students, today we are going to discuss how to make interactive biology running notes. First of all, we'll discuss about the typical parts of a flower and see these are the parts of a flower which are seen in 3D here. And without making any late further, let us now discuss how to make it. Come on, let's start the video. In order to make the 3D shaped parts of a flower, I'm just taking one small paper. You can take paper of any measurement, and first what you have to do, you have to fold this paper into half. Okay, it's just like making just like how you make a pop-up card. So after folding the sheet into half, take scissor and see exactly in the middle. See, you can cut it in a rough manner, no need to measure with scale precisely, and take about inch to 2 inch cut. Okay, so like this. Can you see the cut? Right. Now, turn the paper and make sure to push out this cut portion like this. Now, as there is already the crease here, you're going to make your paper stand like this. Understood? So there will be a pop-up created here. Now along the pop-up, you're going to press it. Right? Now just fold the paper and your pop-up card is ready. Now if you can observe here, the line is not proper. So you can manually adjust it with your hands like this. Okay? So that you'll get a perfect pop-up. You can make all the adjustments here and your pop-up is ready, right? So the next step we are going to do is take a book, preferably your notebook where you want to make the notes. And see, for example, I want to make my notes here. So I'm going to paste this pop-up paper exactly like this. So here don't try to apply more glue or something. Just make few lines of glue along the cuts. Just along the edges. And this is just a rough technique and you can just concentrate while making. I'm just doing it in a rough manner to show you, to make it really quick. So after pasting it here, you'll do the same on the opposite side. Okay, like this. Make sure that you're applying the glue evenly on the edges specifically. You don't have to paste it all over in the middle, but make sure that the edges are being pasted properly, right? So you're gonna press the book like this. After some time, you're going to open it, so the pop-up will be created like this, and you can just smooth all the surfaces of the paper like this. Right, now your pop-up is created. Now just let's start how to make the parts of a flower. For making the parts of a flower, I'm taking one more sheet. This is my rough book, so don't worry about the torn pages. Right, so I'm just taking one paper, and in this paper, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the parts of a flower. See here, this is the model of the flower that I have made, and you can see that I pasted the parts of a flower to this pop-up. So you can see that we are going to draw this shape on this piece of paper. So that means out of the 4 whorls of the flower, the first whorl is going to be the calyx, which is the green colored leaves of the flower. So they will be protecting the flower in bud stage. And the second whorl is the corolla, or the brightly colored petals, which will be attracting the insects during pollination. Now coming to the innermost whorls of the flower, the third one is the androecium, or the male reproductive whorl of the flower. What is it made up of? It is made up of stamens, right? So the third whorl, you can see the stamens here, and each stamen in turn is made up of a stalk known as filament and an anther. The anther will release the stamens, also known as the male reproductive cells. And now this is the gynoecium, which is the innermost whorl of the flower, and it is the female reproductive whorl of the flower, right? So now we are going to draw these on this piece of paper. Okay, so before drawing these, first thing we are going to do is drawing the outline. That means we'll draw the stalk of the flower, also known as pedicel. We'll draw the thalamus or receptacle. Why thalamus or receptacle is swollen here? Because all these whorls of the flower arise from the thalamus, right? So in our book, first of all, we are drawing the pedicel, thalamus, calyx and corolla. Later we'll start preparing our male and female reproductive whorls, right? Now let's get started. So where did we paste our, here. So now for this I'm just taking the sketches. So here we can make a rough assumption, like we are going to make our thalamus here. We're going to draw our stalk, something like this. While making the drawing, you can make more your own models, you know. So I'm going to draw the calyx like a leaf so that you'll understand the purpose of the calyx. I'm just drawing the rough sketch so that it will be as an example when you are preparing your own model. So this is our calyx. Okay, so this part is the pedicel, this is the thalamus or the receptacle, and this is the calyx, right? So I'm going to write down the parts of the flower as well. So this is pedicel. And why we call it as pedicel, and what is a pedicel exactly? It is the stalk of the flower. So you can write your notes here as well. And this is thalamus or receptacle. And why the thalamus or receptacle is swollen? Because all the four whorls of the flower are born from the receptacle. That means they arise from the receptacle. And this is, yes, this is the calyx. Calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower, the green whorl of the flower, and it protects the flower in a bud condition. In the outermost whorl of the calyx, each member is known as a sepal, right? That means each leaf is known as a sepal, and these all sepals together are known as calyx. So I'm writing them in brackets. So sepals are the members of calyx. Okay. And now we are going to draw the brightest whorl of the flower, or the colorful whorl of the flower, or the whorl of the flower that attracts the insects during pollination. Okay. So that is nothing but the, yes, it is the corolla. In drawing the corolla, you can use your own imagination, own colors, and own assumptions. So I have drawn a rough sketch of corolla. Just marking this so as to show the curves. Don't bother about the diagram because I'm just showing you a rough manner, and you can draw the flower as shown in your book, right? So here is the rough sketch here, and I'm sorry I forgot to label it. Yes, this is corolla, or the, yes, the colorful whorl of the flower. So corolla contains many number of petals. So the members of the second whorl of the flower is known as the members of the second whorls of the flower is known as corolla. The whorl is corolla and the members of the whorl are petals. Okay. Now, coming to the third part. Third and fourth part are the reproductive whorls of the flower, which we are going to make it in this piece of paper. So before drawing the reproductive whorls, just see the base measurement of the base. See, the width of the base must be equal to the gynoecium, the ovary. So just mark it roughly here, and according to that you can draw your diagram. Okay, so see, it is starting from here. So I'm going to draw the ovary here, and for the ovary I'll use from some different color. Right, see, I'm making it short because our flower is short, right? The length of our petals is short, so we have to make the flower short, because it will not be good if your gynoecium is exceeding your petals, right? And I'm also drawing the anthers from here. See, in the diagram I'm just showing you that the stamens are arising from the base of the gynoecium. So in fact they are arising from the thalamus. You can add some curves to the androecium so that your model looks more simple and more beautiful. So I'm just here showing you a rough manner, but you'll have the idea of how to prepare your own flower models towards the end of the video, I guarantee it. In order to add more beauty, you can just fill these colors. Okay, so here we'll be having our the most important part of the flower, ovary, right? So inside the ovary, what will develop? What will be present? Ovules will be present, right? So we are having the ovules here, and for the you can just color them if you want. You can color the stamen. I have recently heard from my students that some of my videos are very helpful, but at the same time they are lengthy. So in order to save the time, I'm just cutting it to just making it rough, not paying attention much to the coloring purpose, because all of you out there are experts in coloring in your own way. So just pay attention of how exactly to make this. So coloring and the shape of the flower can be modified according to the pictures given in your textbook, right? So just colored the stamens right now. Okay, now I'll also color the tip of the gynoecium, that is the stigma, so that you'll have an idea when I'll explain. Right, so now what we are going to do is we are going to you can also mark the borders like this if at all the diagram is not quite visible. I know the National Science Day is almost around, and I'll be uploading continuous projects on our videos from today, be it in physics or chemistry or in biology. Let's just start with this interaction books. Interaction books, you know, are the best way to get touch in your subject, right? So don't please don't bother, or please don't mind of the blurry coloring. But yes, ultimately I want you all to understand the concept, not paying much attention to coloring part, because I know when you are going to decorate your notebooks, you are going to do it awesome, in an awesome manner, right? So now we are just going to cut our picture. So students, after cutting, your world of the flower looks like this, and remember to cut the base in a straight manner. And now what we are going to do, we are going to paste the base to this pop-up, okay, like this. See, make sure that the gum should not get stuck anywhere else, because it prevents in a nice closing of the flower, okay, like this. And now you can see that this, yeah, right? So this is how you're going to make your pop-up typical part of a flower. And now we'll go with the labeling of the androecium and gynoecium. So the stamen is further divided into the filament and anther. Filament is the stalk of the flower, okay. So anther is this tip of the stamen. So in this anther, after it gets dried, it will release the pollen grains, which are nothing but the male cells. That is why this is called male reproductive will. So there will be many members. Each member is known as stamen. So I wrote all those names here. See, androecium, anther I wrote, filament I wrote, and you can also write the stamen part if you want, right? So now coming to the innermost whorl of the flower, this is gynoecium. Gynoecium generally contains three parts. First is the main part, which is known as the ovary. Inside the ovary, there will be present, what will be present? Many number of ovules are present inside the ovary, right? So these ovules are the female cells, okay. So now these male cells, that means the pollen released from the androecium should reach this ovules. The male cells will fuse with the female cells. Then fertilization will happen and a small zygote is formed, which later develops into fruit, okay. Now the zygotes are nothing but what? They are the, yes, so what will happen? There will be small seeds will be formed. Ovules will be turned into seeds, and this ovary will become the fruit after fertilization. Understood? So the ovary becomes a fruit later, and this part will remain, this part will remain. Later all will get shedding off. So how we'll see? We'll see a fruit like this. Nice, see? We'll see a fruit hanging from the, yes, like this. We'll see a fruit hanging from the tree. Why? Because see, similar structures. The pedicel will turn like this, calyx will be the same, and the ovary will become the fruit. Inside ovules will become what? They will become the seeds after fertilization. Later what all are not there? Petals will wither away, stamens will wither away, this style stigma will wither away, corolla will wither away. So rest of all will get wither away. Later only the fruit with the calyx and this pedicel are the remnants after fertilization, okay. And now in case of the okay, now ovaries are done, ovules are done. This part is the style, which is the stalk like structure, and this is stigma. Stigma will be different in different types. In some kinds it will be a sticky stigma, in some kinds it will be a feathery stigma like this, and there will be a style like this with the ovary here. Okay, so there will be different types of stigmas. So together with the ovary, style and stigma, we call it as a pistil. What we call it? We call it as a, we call it as a pistil. Pistil is what? Pistil is the, member of the gynoecium. Sorry. Carpel is the member of the gynoecium, and gynoecium is also known as pistil. So gynoecium or pistil is the fourth whorl of the flower, and there will be one or more carpels in gynoecium. That means there can be, see, in some kinds there will be, the gynoecium will be like this. So each of these are the gynoeciums. Each of these are the carpels, and together this entire world is the gynoecium. So members are known as carpels. So gynoecium is made up of one or more carpels. So in a typical flower, I am just showing one carpel, right? So why I wrote all these here? Because you can cut them. So I'll show you a sample now. So I'm taking my scissors and see, for example, I want to paste it to the gynoecium. So you can take any ruled paper and write it so that you'll have that ease of cutting. So I'll cut this like this, and I'm going to paste it here or here or here, anywhere you can, according to your ease you can paste it, right? So all these parts you can cut them and paste them anywhere. Like, see, I'll show you the sample here. See, for this, if at all they're falling down again and again, you can make them short. Okay, make them this much, so that they'll stand, right? We'll show our the first model that I have made. I'll show you. See this one. See, I have pasted. I have pasted this. This is the androecium, right? Sorry, it got stuck, I think. Actually I've pasted it for this. So this is the androecium, this is the gynoecium, and these are the ovules, and this is the ovary. So these are the anthers, and this is the corolla, right? So this is how you're going to do your labeling, right? And when you're closing the book, and then when you're opening, your interactive book will open like this. And you can also keep a nice bold heading like this, parts of a typical flower, and your ma'am is definitely going to get impressed with you. All the best. So now I've taken the same rough paper where I have cut the image. So here I wrote all the parts of the inner whorl. Now let me explain the inner whorl to you. So the third most whorl of the flower is known as androecium. So androecium is the male reproductive whorl of the flower, and it contains members known as stamens. This one is one stamen. Okay, each stamen contains again two different parts. One is the stalk, which is known as the filament, and other one is the lobed part, this part. Okay, so the lobed part, which is known as the